Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Mascrallo and in this video we're going to talk about Bitcoin, few interesting on-chain metrics, some hopium scenario. There's so much negativity happening and going around in the world right now and in the markets and on social media that I decided to just show you some on-chain data and we can examine what it means and how it could impact the future price of Bitcoin. And then afterwards we're going to quickly take a look at the price action right here and see if we can come up with some really cool trade ideas and trade models for the coming days. And so without any further ado, if you're brand new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you're always notified when I make a new upload, because you have to watch these as soon as they come out and from the very beginning and until the end, so that you're always updated to all the market moves, all the news and all the most juiciest stuff, so that you're going to be a professional trader and the most informed one. And as always, there is a link to my free Telegram channel down in the description of this video so that you're always notified when I make a new upload. And also it's a big trading community. There is like 10,000 people. It's free and you can communicate and discuss different trade ideas, etc. So it's really cool. Join it right now. Let's get to it. Okie dokie, and before we get into the technical analysis, I have to mention that all the trades that I'm gearing up for, I'm going to be taking over on Bybit as well as over on BitGet. And with my exclusive links down in the description of this video or in the pinned comment, you can claim up to $9,100 in initial deposit bonuses, $5,000 with BitGet and $4,100 with Bybit. So this is absolutely incredible. It helps out the channel when you use my links, and also you get insane bonuses, and those exchanges are really good. And Bybit was voted as the most transparent exchange back in 2021, which is insane. So use those and join our team and let's get ready for some awesome trades. Okay, so now let's move on to what I wanted to talk in this video about. So this is, again, a hopium scenario in a sense that gives us an understanding of where we are standing right now. This is basically a map in econometrics. It's they did a mapping out of drawdowns in terms of the size and duration of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and S&P 500. So Bitcoin is the orange one, the pink one is Ethereum, and the blue one is S&P 500. And this here, I think, tells us a big story, that when it comes to Ethereum, we're pretty much at the bottom, very close to it. Like in 2018, that's the only time when we had a lower time, and also here, that's super tiny one. And when it comes to Bitcoin, we are very, very close to being like super close to like the all-time bottom, so to speak, which is really cool. But when it comes to S&P 500, we are somewhere in the middle. So we've definitely seen some bigger crashes like COVID, Black Monday, Nixon recession, crash of 1973, dot-com bubble, great recession of the burst of the housing market back in 2008. So it still is hanging in there. So this chart actually tells us a few things, guys and girls, and it's both a hopium scenario as well as not so hopium scenario. Why? Because again, if we would be looking just at on-chain metrics, then we could say, oh, we're definitely at the bottom and we can just long Bitcoin. But if we look at S&P 500, then there is a lot more to go to the downside. It's obvious for the S&P 500 as well as for NASDAQ. So, and we know that Fed is probably not going to be decreasing the interest rates anytime soon, so we might see us actually go in terms of S&P 500 somewhere in this region, which would of course do what? Send Bitcoin lower. So I know this video was supposed to be about hopium, so let's move on to the next one, which is right here, and this is Bitcoin bear markets, and there's just a comparison of the drawdowns, and we currently are right here. The orange one is our current cycle right here. So the only times previously we gone a little bit lower when Bitcoin historically went down about 85%. We currently are at about 75% drawdown. So this is the reason why I'm really still looking for another leg down. We're going to talk about it in just a second, but still any buy currently at a 75% discount or 70% discount on Bitcoin is still considered to be a very good buy for your long-term portfolio for dollar cost averaging. So next one is here, which is a Bitcoin on-chain 1 year active supply, which shows us, the cooling down of the market. So whenever we see like dark blue color, that's when the market is slowing down. only hodlers are left. They're not moving their tokens. They're just sitting there waiting for the next bull market to happen. And as we can see, we are very deep into blue right now, just like we've seen here in 2014-15 when we went into blue. This is where we saw a prolonged time of consolidation, and this is what I've mentioned to you many times before. Call me Mr. Spot On down in the comments right now and like the video while you're at it. And also wanted to ask for a favor from you, which is going to take you just 3 seconds, and that is share this video on your social media or with your friends and family members. There is a share button on YouTube below this video, would help out the channel tremendously, and thank you in advance. So, and this is what we are seeing right now is that we're deep in blue. So this is pretty cool in terms of on-chain data, that this is usually signalizing the bottom or us being in the vicinity of the bottom. All right, let's take a look at the next one, which is also the Bitcoin on-chain market value to realized value. We also know this metric as MVRV, and we currently are seeing that we are like literally in this super pale region, which just shows us how close we are to the bottom. And usually we saw this kind of pale color right here, 2018, 2015, 2019, and this is where we are heading right now, and that's where we are actually at right now. So this shows the reluctance of the sellers to actually keep selling forward further, and we're starting to reach those price levels at which there is not enough sellers simply to push the price lower. Again, cascading liquidations, that's a bit different, forced liquidations, but at some point we're going to flush down that leverage and the cascading liquidations are going to end. So this is also what I'm looking forward to, but I'm going to talk about it in just 1 second. And then lastly, which is actually the biggest piece of hopium right here, which is Bitcoin on-chain accumulation trends. And we've seen a cool down and accumulation trend right here at, well, obviously in this region, the previous all-time high right here. So, well, not previous, but the one that was $64,000, then we had the 69 one. So, and here we saw a big cool down and accumulation trends, but right now the colors are starting to change a little bit, and there is more and more accumulation the lower we go. So this is definitely a sign that Bitcoin is not dead. So it's just playing around a little bit with all the terrible macroeconomic situation that we're seeing in the world right now. So what does this whole thing mean? Obviously, we understood that this is, very good hopium scenarios and very good information in general, which shows us that we are pretty close to the bottom. So for that reason, we have to go to CryptoQuant and just take a look at what's going on with leverage. And I've showed you this before, that Bitcoin estimated leverage ratio, which is not the most accurate metric, but nonetheless. And we can see that we did see some flush down of leverage, with all the cascading liquidations that we've seen, and also some miners selling as well. But the leverage is still there, and it's quite frank. I might be wrong. Again, I'm not really, and I haven't been into crypto for 100 years, right? Well, again, crypto isn't there for 100 years. So for me, it's too high of leverage. We'll see how this plays out, but I would really want to see, all I'm trying to say here is that I would really want to see leverage go down to maybe, some lower levels as we are seeing here, maybe this kind of a level at 2.0. So leverage for me is still very high at this point. So for that reason, what this means is that there is a huge potential for more cascading liquidations. So that in turn means that we'll be able to reach my targets for my buy-in targets of about $14,000 or $10,000, which would be a very nice key market levels from the previous cycle right here. And this is where, because I bought some, again, I have told you this before, I bought some Ethereum and I bought some Bitcoin already at the current prices, but the biggest chunk of the money I'm going to be throwing in at these areas and these areas right here. So let's quickly take a look at a smaller, but again, it's like a hopium scenario, but at the same time, I'm just talking about the Bitcoin price going down. So I'm actually hoping that it's going to go down a bit lower, because in long-term perspective, I believe in it in like nothing, no other asset. So if it goes lower, it just gives me a better discount. But definitely, when we look at the on-chain data, we are nearing the end of this pain area. So let's take a look at the quick, as I promised you, at the quick short-term technical analysis, and we'll see that we had this, actually I removed it, but we had this, oh no, not this one. We had this, let's actually just put it in there. We had this very important support, which we broke down from right here. Then we retested it, and it was a beautiful short trade right here. So if you've taken it, good for you, but right now you're in danger, because we have this kind of a falling wedge, and we are currently trying to break it to the upside. Well, the volume isn't really there that much. I mean, some increase in 1 hour, but really not that, quite frankly, not that very interesting at all. What I want to see is some, these kinds of structures. I mean, certainly you could say that if we actually go down now, this could be as a rejection from this level. This could be an interesting short trade indeed, but I don't know how soon I'm going to be able to upload this video, so it might actually be already happened. So it's like you have to be in tune, and you really don't want to be entering into trades late, because it's going to be increasing your likelihood of getting stopped out, and your stop has to be bigger, etc. If I miss a trade, I don't touch it. This is a huge lesson you need to learn as well, if you haven't learned it as well already in a very expensive way. So in this instance, in Bitcoin, if we're going to be breaking above right here, what is going to be and should you be longing this? As I told you before, guys and girls, the volatility is down, and also the volume is down, and we have so much resistance coming in. Even though we had this head and shoulders pattern with a target of about $26,000, I'd be extremely surprised if we get there. Again, anything can happen. This is not financial advice, and the market predictions are very difficult, and they are not always very accurate, and I'm not an exception. So in this instance, and I'm always honest about it, so like the video and comment down below. Call me Mr. Spot On. Thanks in advance. So basically, the EMA ribbon, for example, in the daily chart, look, it's coming in like all the way up to this main resistance that we're about to see. If we're gonna get there at about $26,000, we had to get through this whole EMA ribbon, and as we've seen before, price often struggles to get through it. So us just pushing to it to 26K without any fundamental reason is just, when we talk about probabilities, it's just stupid. And also this white line, I had to remind you that this white line is from the weekly chart. It's a 200 week moving average coming in right here as well from above, so we can actually retest it and then go down. Let me actually make it a little bit bigger. So what I'm trying to say here, guys and girls, is that there isn't really that very much power, and if we're gonna turn on the BBWP, we're gonna see that we're actually going into this cool down area, just like we've seen right here. After this strong move downward, we actually had a prolonged time of consolidation, and for this reason, I have told you before in many videos back, that the best case scenario for right now, and I told you this when we were here, we would see some kind of a consolidation in this region, and look what's happening. So I got this right, so that's pretty cool. And right now, really, we need some kind of a catalyst event. So for us, the technical breakout and trading this technical breakout into so much resistance here without any fundamental reason for it, and especially when BBWP is just going into a cool down session again, so to speak, I wouldn't be trying to long it until we are in some kind of this region or this region right here in BBWP, especially again without having any fundamental catalysts. Which number one, the most important one that is coming in right now, again, you have to every day pay attention to the spot ETF of Grayscale, and always Google it, spot ETF of Grayscale, and see if it was approved or not, because if it's going to be declined, this is going to be the catalyst event that you don't even need to pay attention to any levels. You can short Bitcoin because it's gonna go down. And they have that deadline till July 6th to actually make a decision to either approve it or disapprove it. And if it's going to be approved, then you can just long Bitcoin for sure. So, and lastly, what is coming in that we are certain about is going to be the CPE data, personal consumption expenditures price index, which is very important, on June the 30th. And I'm going to definitely keep you guys updated. I'm going to link a tutorial to BitGet right here, which you can check out. This is a tutorial to copy trading that you can actually use it for your passive income. And it's also just a tutorial on how to use BitGet in general. And as always, stay smart, stay rich, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.